On September 5th of this year, it was the 14th day of the 7th lunar month, the Zhongyuan Festival, also known as the Ghost Festival. Across mainland China, paper money was burned everywhere, and the streets were lit up with flames as people paid tribute to their deceased relatives. But this year, the firelight was especially intense, with far more people burning paper than in previous years. Why is this happening? Some residents explain that burning paper at street intersections is a traditional way of honoring the dead, and the increase in people burning paper reflects the growing number of deaths in recent years. Looking at the way people burn votive paper money, we can see that the number of Chinese deaths in recent years is terrifying. In Chinese folk tradition, there are three major ghost festivals: Qingming Festival, the 15th day of the 7th lunar month, and the first day of the 10th lunar month. During these festivals, people burn paper money, usually yellow or white paper cut into the shape of coins, to send to the deceased. It is said that this paper money is the currency of the underworld. This custom dates back to ancient times, and for generations, people have burned paper to send offerings to the spirits of the dead. In recent years, as Qingming and the Ghost Festival approach, citizens often burn paper at intersections at night, and the practice has become increasingly common. When the day arrives, burning starts after dark, filling the streets with firelight so intense that many describe it as terrifying. Outside of Qingming, Zhongyuan, in the first day of the 10th lunar month, people burning paper in the streets usually means that someone in their family has recently passed away. Nowadays, such cases are not rare. Residents say that between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., it is common to see people burning paper, and the piles of ashes left behind reflect how many people have died. Today, all cemeteries in Beijing have banned paper burning. Authorities have introduced restrictive regulations, prohibiting the burning of sacrificial offerings in public places. But many people still continue the practice on special occasions or anniversaries of death. With limited designated areas for burning, people often resort to burning paper in residential compounds, on roadsides, in stairwells, or even in forests. Some argue this destroys a tradition practiced for thousands of years, while others suspect that the government is trying to cover up the true death toll from the pandemic. Official media, however, calls on people to find new ways to commemorate loved ones in their hearts and adopt more civilized practices. Yet in reality, many still carry bags of paper money into the night, setting them aflame, with firelight rising into the sky, an expression of longing for their relatives and a silent protest against the state of society today. As the Zhongyuan Festival approaches, many residents return home only to find officials and volunteers standing at street corners, preventing people from burning joss paper. Even the education department has urged teachers and parents to promote civilized sacrifices. But some citizens disagree. They argue that China's 5,000-year-old traditions, like Qingming Festival and the Zhongyuan Festival, carry wisdom passed down from ancestors. Burning paper money or cleaning graves is not just ritual. It is a way to express remembrance and affection for deceased loved ones. If burning paper is completely banned, they fear human bonds will weaken, and the warmth of remembering the dead will slowly fade away. In some families, the ritual is passed down year after year. Ancestors are called by name, and offerings are made as though giving them wages. Despite financial hardship, families insist what should be given to our ancestors will never be less. People kneel before the spirits, asking for blessings, more earnings, a car, a house, a better life. It is a blend of tradition, longing, and the harsh realities of today's China, where wallets are empty and survival feels uncertain. Since the outbreak of COVID-19 5 years ago, the Chinese Communist Party has concealed the true scale of the crisis. Doctors and bloggers revealed that sudden deaths have surged, and residents from Beijing to Hebei whispered that the pandemic never truly ended. It kept mutating, silently claiming lives. A man from Guangzhou in Hebei said his mother died last April when burials had quietly reopened, while a citizen from Jilin admitted several friends had collapsed and died suddenly. Amid this grief, the sky itself has shown eerie signs. On September 3rd, the day of the Beijing military parade, the sky over Hainan turned a ghastly green, while in Sanya, colors shifted from blood red to pale green to ghostly gray. Videos uploaded online shocked millions, with netizens crying out, "What's happening? Has the gate of the underworld opened with the Zhongyuan Festival so near?" Some called it spectacular, others terrifying, as half the sky glowed with unnatural colors, fueling fear and superstition. Between ancient traditions being suppressed, hidden deaths multiplying, and the heavens themselves turning strange, many Chinese feel a growing unease, that the living and the dead are closer than ever, and that the truth of this era can no longer be hidden. China's AI stocks plummeted, with the market capitalization of the five largest companies evaporating by 190 billion yuan. On the morning of September 8th, the A-share AI hardware sector experienced a dark half-hour, with five leading companies, including Zhongyuan, seeing their combined market capitalization evaporate by approximately 190 billion yuan in just 30 minutes. By the close of trading, the AI sector was generally on a downward trend. Analysts revealed the driving force behind the collective plunge in Chinese AI chip stocks. Just 30 minutes after the opening of trading on September 8th, the AI hardware sector plummeted. Share prices of five leading companies, including Zhongyuan, Eosun, Tianfu Communication, Shenghong Technology, and Foxconn Industrial Internet, all fell by over 10%, resulting in a total market capitalization loss of approximately 190 billion yuan, RMB. Among them, Zhongyuan, a leading optical module company, saw its market capitalization evaporate by over 60 billion yuan, accounting for one-third of the total loss. By the close of trading, AI industry segments such as optical modules, GPUs, and PCBs had all fallen, with few stocks in the sector spared. CPO, co-packaged optics, stocks like Xinjiang fell over 10%, while Liante Technology, Guangzhou Technology, and Zhongji Sichuan fell over 9%, and Tianfu Communication dropped over 7%. In the server and GPU sectors, Foxconn Industrial Internet fell over 7%, and Cambricon dropped nearly 5%. In the PCB printed circuit board sector, Shenghong Technology fell nearly 10%, and Shanghai Electric Co-Industries Ltd declined nearly 6%. This plunge in AI stocks occurred against the backdrop of a period of strong growth in the AI sector. Data shows that Zhongji Sichuan's highest year-to-date increase exceeded 400%, while Xinjiang's increase exceeded 600% during the same period. Analysts believe that the market data on that day showed a clear outflow of funds from the overvalued AI sector to sectors with relatively reasonable valuations and strong policy expectations, such as healthcare, agriculture, and aerospace. This reflects market concerns about the AI sector's high valuations and investors' fear of heights. First Financial Daily cited market analysis, noting that leveraged funds have the typical characteristics of driving both bullish and bearish trends. Since August, margin traders have been aggressively increasing their investments in the technology sector. Among them, the margin balances of Zhongji Sichuan, Xinjiang, and Shenghong Technology have all doubled in the past month, each exceeding 7 billion yuan. Foxconn Industrial Internet's margin balance also increased by 3.538 billion yuan, a 119% rise. Analysts believe that during a rally, margin trading pushes up stock prices, creating a positive feedback loop. However, once the market turns, margin trading may hit the liquidation level, forcing sales that further exacerbate the decline, creating a negative feedback loop. Meanwhile, the A-share market has recently experienced a thrilling roller coaster ride. On the afternoon of August 27th, the Shanghai Composite Index briefly surged to 30,287, 20 points before plunging sharply, ultimately falling 1.76% and barely holding above the crucial 3,800-point mark. The Shenzhen Component Index and the Chinex Index also experienced a rapid reversal after reaching their peaks, falling 1.43% and 0.69% respectively. The trigger for the market volatility has been attributed to Cambricon, a leading AI chip company. On August 28th, Cambricon's stock price soared again, surpassing Kuaichao Mutai's closing price to officially become the top stock on the A-share market. Amid frenzied market enthusiasm, Cambricon's price-to-earnings ratio soared to 595 times. However, on September 4th, Cambricon's stock price fell 14.45%. In the 6 trading days since its August 28th high, Cambricon's market capitalization has plummeted by over 160 billion yuan. China's economic engine is sinking. In Guangzhou, Beijing, Shanghai, and beyond, people have stopped spending. The streets are deserted, landlords are drowning in debt, and bizarre signs of collapse are everywhere. Woman, have you noticed? Lately, everyone in Guangzhou has fallen into a state of low consumption. I saw a report saying that plane tickets from Guangzhou to some destinations are only about 100 yuan, but no one is buying them. And now, many carriages on high-speed and bullet trains are almost empty. Even in Guangzhou's busiest districts, you can find fast food restaurants selling 1 meat and 2 vegetables for just 13 yuan. It's unbelievable. Man, China's urban landscape may have changed beyond your imagination. Guangzhou may have quietly fallen behind. Man, look, rows of shops are closing down. Over here, they're all shuttered, including this one. Man, they've all left. It's empty now. Guangzhou is getting quieter by the day. Even the main roads are less crowded with cars and people. Guangzhou was once one of China's 4 first-tier cities in the southern gateway of the country. But as the national economy declines, Guangzhou has inevitably fallen into recession. Man, if Guangzhou keeps going like this, how long can we hold out? Honestly, the current situation here is depressing. On the surface, a Tianhe subway station is still crowded, and Tianhe shopping district looks lively. But in reality, in this city where the average wage is only 6,500 yuan, many people face monthly mortgage and car payments totaling nearly 20,000 yuan. Big companies are downsizing, small businesses are struggling, and street vendors are under even greater pressure. After working from dawn to dusk for an entire month, they still can't afford their utility bills. Many people are now debating whether to leave Guangzhou. Woman, oh my goodness, is the job market in Guangzhou really this grim? My friend Anne has been looking for a job here for almost a month and still hasn't found one. She's a college student transferring from a junior college to a bachelor's degree. She's studying at Guangzhou Business College and finishing her junior year. Next year, she'll start a year-long internship. But is it really this hard to survive in a big city? And she has a bachelor's degree. Why does it seem like it's even harder to find work than with just a junior college diploma? Guangzhou's economy is in decline, and many who came here chasing dreams have been stopped cold by reality. Why would they rather return to their less prosperous hometowns than remain in this first-tier global metropolis? Because Guangzhou's economic downturn is truly shocking. Man, after Chongqing and Shenzhen surpassed Guangzhou, now we're hearing the devastating news that Hangzhou is about to overtake it too. The Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen pattern has shifted to Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Hangzhou, and Chongqing. Overnight, Guangzhou seems to have become the laughingstock of the first-tier cities. Man, the GDP figures for the first quarter have been released, and Guangzhou still hasn't turned things around. Its GDP is still trailing Chongqing's. Among the top 30 cities by GDP, Guangzhou's real growth rate was just 3%, second from the bottom, while its neighbor Foshan grew only 2.3%, ranking last. Guangdong, as a major industrial province, has long provided jobs for millions of migrants. But with the economic downturn, factories have been shutting down one after another, leaving countless workers without livelihoods. A blogger recently shared the plight of factory owners in Guangdong. Man, I just came back from visiting the markets in Zhejiang and Guangdong. The situation is terrible. It's a debt crisis. Everyone is stuck with unsold goods and their value keeps falling. Many already have bank loans tied up in their businesses. If this continues, prices of raw materials will keep dropping. It'll become harder to collect payments, and the capital chain will break. This will trigger a massive wave of bankruptcies. With less money in hand, people are forced to constantly increase income and cut expenses, living frugally. A blogger live-streamed Guangzhou's bustling Shangshiju pedestrian street, but the scene was strikingly depressing. Man, trousers are 79 yuan for two, denim shorts are 55 yuan for two, 30 yuan for one, 50 yuan for two. Look at that second-floor building across the street. All the shops have vacated it. It used to be a seafood buffet called Palace Banquet, but now it's empty. This place used to be incredibly lively. A man described Guangzhou's economic situation this year. Walking down Shangshiju Commercial Street, you'll notice that this once bustling area is now lined with shops showing vacant for sale signs. It used to be full of people, but now it's almost deserted. It's truly desolate. This isn't just a business downturn. It shows the broader economic environment's impact on the real estate market. Many small businesses are failing and closing one after another. Large companies are laying off employees and cutting salaries just to survive. Guangzhou residents may still appear to live in a bustling, prosperous city, but those familiar with the situation have summed it up differently. Man, some people are still gritting their teeth to pay their mortgages. The pressure is unimaginable. Prices are skyrocketing. A trip to the supermarket costs no less than 200 yuan. Vegetables are sometimes more expensive than meat. Besides basic living expenses, the mortgage is like a mountain, suffocating us. Children's tutoring, clothes, insurance, property management fees, all these add to already tight finances. Man, many delivery drivers have no orders and taxi drivers are driving empty, while hotels are fully booked every day. Crowds of job seekers are staying in hotels, waiting for work. Office buildings in Tianhe, Huangpu, and UXU districts are vacant, and white-collar workers in Zhujiang Newtown can't even afford pork knuckle rice. On the other hand, Guangzhou has received at least hundreds of thousands of applications for immigration this year. Guangdong has also seen an influx of Hong Kong residents, suggesting that those with the means are choosing to leave. It seems Guangzhou residents can no longer stay, and those who can are trying to move abroad. Guangzhou's economy continues to decline, severely affecting employment. The job market in Guangzhou is grim. Specifically, there are too many job seekers for too few openings. For every one job, dozens of people are competing. Many cannot find stable work, sometimes working a single day and then staying idle for a week. Woman, without outsiders coming to Guangzhou, we landlords would be starving. Money is so hard to make here and jobs are so hard to find. Woman bum. Renting out apartments in Guangzhou this year is incredibly difficult. The vacancy rate is extremely high, and I don't know why. As a landlord with 50,000 properties in Guangzhou, I've experienced this firsthand this year. It's truly tough. Woman, housing is a basic necessity, part of food, clothing, shelter, and transportation, right? So everything else is optional. If housing is already this difficult, imagine how hard it is for other industries. A man pointed out several strange phenomena in Guangzhou in 2025. First, in groups and on WeChat moments, no one talks about promotions, salary increases, or job changes anymore. It used to be all about complaints of working overtime and wanting to quit, change jobs, or get a raise. This year, that's all gone. Everyone just says, I need to work overtime. Second, it's food safety. So many people in Guangzhou bring their own lunch to work. Third, secondhand properties simply aren't selling. He added, fourth, many shopping malls in Guangzhou have closed, like the Yonghui supermarket at Baishan Plaza and the Walmart at Guangzhou Newport. They used to be packed, but now they shut down overnight. Fifth, Guangzhou's office buildings are sitting unrented. Sixth, food delivery and taxi services are incredibly fast, even at peak hours. Seventh, I receive several calls from loan companies every day. When I see an unfamiliar number, I don't know whether to answer. Bloggers analyze Guangzhou's economy. Beijing leads in capital due to central enterprise headquarters, followed by Shanghai and Shenzhen. Beijing's fiscal revenue reached 26 trillion yuan, Shanghai 23 trillion, and Shenzhen 14.16 trillion. Guangzhou, however, had only 9.2 trillion, far behind Shenzhen. In fiscal revenue rankings, Shanghai placed first with 837.4 billion yuan, Beijing second with 637.3 billion, and Shenzhen third with 391.4 billion. Hangzhou ranked fourth with 264 billion, while Guangzhou had just 195.5 billion, dropping to eighth nationwide. Some argue that under adjusted standards, Guangzhou's revenue would be about 270 billion, only enough for fourth place. Once considered the economic capital of South China, Guangzhou has now become an empty shell city. In July 2024, Guangzhou's local government debt reached 3.57 trillion yuan, ranking second in the country after Chongqing. However, Guangzhou's fiscal revenue was only just over 350 billion yuan, meaning its debt is nearly 10 times its revenue. Once listed among China's four first-tier cities, Guangzhou has effectively fallen out of that status. This decline is reflected in the local housing market. In Longpo Garden, Huizhou, the price of a 51 square meter one-bedroom apartment dropped from 10,400 yuan per square meter to just 8,632 yuan per square meter. A 65 square meter two-bedroom mid- or high-rise unit, originally priced at 14,000 yuan per square meter, is now being sold for only 7,950 yuan. Such steep discounts are highly unusual. Li Keqiang, with his sharp business acumen, not only recognized the risks posed by the CCP in mainland China, but also foresaw the inevitable economic decline of Guangdong province. As early as 2011, Li began selling properties in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, while shifting his investment focus to Europe. In recent years, as economic problems in mainland China have worsened, Li's companies have almost completely withdrawn. In September 2022, he sold his last office project in Guangzhou, achieving a complete exit from the city. In July 2023, he also sold his last commercial project in Shanghai.